A few months ago, my husband found messages between me and a coworker. He caught me leaving my phone unlocked on the counter, something I rarely do. The messages were mildly flirtatious. He saw enough to know my coworker was heading in a dangerous direction. My husband didn't yell. He didn't rage. He asked me point blank if I thought this was acceptable. I froze, stammered some weak excuse, and finally admitted it was bordering on weird, but insisted I had done nothing to warrant this behavior from my coworker. It was a lie. I knew I had been leading him on for weeks. He told me to stop. He warned me this wasn't a joke, that if I kept going down this path, I'd regret it. He wasn't angry, but he was calm in a way that scared me more than if he'd shouted. He said I needed to end all contact immediately, and I promised him I would, but I didn't. At first, I did block my coworker. I wanted to prove to myself that I could stop. But then I convinced myself it was harmless to unblock him, that we could just talk. I thought I was in control, that I could keep it casual and I wasn't dying to jump his bones. That was a lie. I kept feeding into the attention, and things escalated rapidly. Texting late at night, private lunches, short stolen moments. I felt unable to stop myself. I was addicted to his attention and his touch. 2 months ago, it became physical for the first time. We have been going strong until now. Now I'm almost certain my husband knows. It's been a week since things shifted. At first, I didn't notice anything different, but now I see it in everything he does or doesn't do. He used to text me during the day. Small things like, "How's your day?" or "What do you want for dinner?" He doesn't anymore. He used to kiss me goodbye in the mornings, even if he was rushing out the door. That stopped too. He's been coming home later than usual, claiming he's swamped with work. When he does come home, he barely speaks to me. He avoids eye contact, answers my questions with 1 or 2 words, and spends hours in the garage or the spare bedroom instead of sitting with me in the living room. He doesn't ask me how I'm doing, doesn't laugh at my jokes, doesn't even acknowledge me unless he has to. The silence at home is unbearable. A few days ago, I noticed my phone wasn't where I'd left it. I'm almost certain he went through it, but he hasn't said anything. I went through his laptop and saw that there was a search for a family law firm. I feel like I'm walking on a knife's edge, waiting for him to drop the bomb. Or am I just paranoid because my conscience is guilty? I replay every moment from the past week, trying to figure out what he's seen, what he knows. Has someone told him? Did he see us somewhere? Did I forget to delete something? My heart races every time he looks at me, even if it's just a passing glance. I keep expecting him to lash out, to explode, but he doesn't. And that's what terrifies me the most. Some nights, I'm not even sure if he'll come home at all. I'm terrified he's staying away because he's planning his next move. Part of me thinks he's waiting for me to confess, but the thought of sitting him down and telling him everything makes my stomach turn. What if he's only suspicious right now? What if I confess and it just destroys us faster? What if he already knows but wants me to admit it so he can leave? Every second of this is a nightmare. I'm constantly on edge, jumping at every little thing. His footsteps in the hallway, the sound of his car pulling into the driveway. I keep telling myself I should just rip the bandage off and tell him a filtered truth, but I can't get past the fear. I don't know what he's thinking, and that scares me more than anything. Is he planning to confront me? To leave me? To quietly detach until there's nothing left of us? Every moment of this silence feels like a countdown to something I'm not ready to face. I need help. I don't know what to do. Should I confess? Should I wait for him to confront me? Am I in danger? Should I call for help? My sister's aware of the situation at the moment, so that's a relief that at least one person in my life is on my side. I just wish things won't end up bad for me. We don't have any children currently, but I'd love to start a family one day. We also have been looking at houses for the past few months. I want to live my dream life. With my husband, I just wish he'd not think I'm unworthy of him because of the things I've done. Update, he confronted me last night. He came home late, as he's been doing recently, and sat down across from me at the kitchen table. I knew something was coming because he looked different, calm but cold, like he had made a decision and was just ready to deliver it. He started by telling me he knows about the affair. He didn't ask me questions, didn't yell, didn't want me to explain. He just said he knows. I don't know what came over me, but I broke down. It was so stupid of me since it basically meant I was admitting I was guilty. But he stopped me. He said he didn't want to hear anything I had to say. He told me I could tell him I was having a heart attack and would drop dead at that moment, but he just wouldn't care. Then he told me he needed space. He asked me to move into the guest bedroom for now. He said he can't stand the thought of sharing a bed with me after everything he's found out. I asked him how he knew, but he wouldn't tell me. He just said it didn't matter how. What matters is that I betrayed him. I offered to start therapy. I told him I'd do whatever it takes to fix this, to rebuild what I've destroyed. He said he's not sure if there's anything left to rebuild, but he didn't outright reject the idea. He said he needs time to figure out what he wants and how he feels about everything. What hurt the most was when he told me he's already spoken to a lawyer and would give me the papers soon. He was so calm about it, like we were discussing tomorrow's meal prep. I moved into the guest bedroom last night, as he asked. It's bleak. The deco is depressing. I spent most of the night staring at the ceiling, trying to process everything. I wanted to go to him, to ask if we could just talk, but I knew that would only make things worse. He needs space, and I have to respect that, no matter how much it hurts. Today has been quiet. He's barely spoken to me, and when he does, it's about practical things. Bills, errands, logistics. It feels like he's shutting me out completely, like I'm already losing him. I'm terrified of what's coming next. I'm scared he's already made up his mind to leave me, and I won't be able to sway him no matter what I do. I'm scared that no matter how much I want to fix this, it's already too late. For now, I'm just trying to give him the space he's asking for. I don't know what else I can do. I don't know if he'll ever be able to see me as anything other than the person who broke his heart. I love him. I know that doesn't fix anything, but I do. I just hope that somehow he'll let me prove it to him again. For now, all I can do is wait and pray that this isn't the end. Final update. It's hard to even know where to start. I've been sitting here in the dark, staring at the ceiling of my apartment, letting the silence suffocate me. Nights like this are the hardest. During the day, I can find ways to distract myself. Work, errands, anything to keep my mind busy. But when night falls and it's just me and the weight of my choices, it's unbearable. Someone once told me that the hardest part of hitting rock bottom isn't the fall, it's lying there alone, realizing no one is coming to save you. And that's where I am, alone. 3 months since the divorce was finalized, D-Day was almost 6 months ago. I admire how calmly he went through the process. He barely spoke to me during the mediation meetings, barely looked at me. I kept waiting for him to say something, to give me some kind of sign that he still felt something for me, even if it was anger, but he didn't. The last time we spoke, really spoke, he told me he wished me well, but that he couldn't keep living with someone who made him feel like he didn't matter. He said he deserved better, and I couldn't argue with him. He does. Now I'm here in this empty apartment. It's smaller than our house, and the walls are so thin I can hear the neighbor's TV most nights. There's no warmth here, no comfort, just this crushing loneliness that reminds me every second of what I've lost. I spend most nights replaying everything, wondering if there was a moment when I could have stopped myself, a moment when I could have chosen differently. But then I realize I never got a chance to redeem myself. He never gave me one. Or maybe it was when he started acting distant, when I could feel him pulling away. I could have come clean then, told him the truth, and at least tried to salvage what we had. But I was too scared. I cut AP off, kept hoping he wouldn't find out about AP. But he did. I've been in therapy since the divorce. My therapist said something last week that hit me hard. She said, "Do you regret hurting him, or do you regret losing him?" At first I wanted to say both, but the more I think about it, the more I realize that my regret is rooted in my own selfishness. I regret losing him. I regret losing the life we built together, and that realization makes me hate myself even more. I keep wondering if he's doing okay. I hope he is. I hope he's found peace, maybe even happiness. I hope he's smiling again, laughing again, but it hurts to think about him moving on without me. I know he deserves to, but the thought of him loving someone else makes it hard to breathe. I've tried to reach out a few times, an email, a handwritten letter, but I never hit send, never dropped the letter in the mailbox. What could I even say? I'm sorry feels hollow. I still love you feels cruel. Nothing I say will fix what I've done, so I sit in this silence and let it consume me. My AP is doing fine. He's on his second fling since I called it quits. Guess I wasn't anything special despite what he mumbled all the time. There's no grand lesson here, no silver lining. I'm not a better person because of this. I'm just a woman who made terrible choices and now has to live with the consequences. If you're at the edge flirting with the idea of making the same mistakes, don't do it. Don't wait until you're lying in an empty apartment, drowning in regret, to realize what you've lost. Don't throw away someone who loves you for something that doesn't matter. Because once it's gone, and nights like this, they'll remind you of that forever.